I like pointing out this study. This was an in vitro study. They took neurons in a petri dish and gave them psychedelics. So this is entirely outside of human experience or anything. And what they found is there is a purely mechanistic function of psychedelics to regrow the branches of neurons. And a neuron is a cell body, right? You have the nucleus, but then the dendrites, the spines, and the synapses are what connect to other neurons, which is how neurons communicate and form thoughts in your brain. And DOI, DMT, and LSD are the psychedelics. VH, this is your placebo, the vehicular control group. And so you can see in a number of visual representations, especially LSD, again, LSD very, very powerful, really, really just...
Regrowing the neurons.
Yes.
So what will that do?
Well, that's exactly why, this is important because, you got traumatic brain injury, dementia. I mean, even they know there are physical correlates of PTSD, depression, addiction, and anxiety where the neurons get inflamed and they retract the branches. It's probably a protective mechanism. And it's in saying like regrow, it doesn't necessarily imply that they were broken or something, but the what?
More activity is what they're saying, right?
Well, it's both because there is a retraction. Like I think it is a protective mechanism of the cell to pull back the branches if there's too much inflammation or if it's just just generally to preserve itself, because the cell body doesn't necessarily go away, although it can, with certain brain damage. But and then psychedelics also don't necessarily grow the cell body itself. That would be true neurogenesis, which I've heard lion's mane. They say lion's mane can do that. It's another mushroom, but I think it's very, very limited potential for psychedelics to actually like grow a new cell body. But then that's also where the idea of combining like psilocybin with lion's mane together could be a form of treatment for dementia or brain damage or something like that. Paul Stamets likes to tell his story that he was able to regain his hearing loss from a psychedelic experience, and so that that might be an example of the cell body being able to the neurogenesis. But otherwise, that's why we say neuritogenesis or synaptogenesis. That's specifically talking about the branches, the dendrites and the synapses that are able to regrow. So probably responsible for what we see as the great results with treating depression, addiction, PTSD, OCD. But then also novel thought patterns. It's like this is literally making new connections, physical new connections in the brain. And it's not even something that you need a brain to have. The cell itself somehow reacts to the presence of these molecules in a purely mechanistic way. So really, I mean, if you're a neuroscientist and you're not studying this stuff, what are you doing? I don't
My LSD